Need this. We good? Smithville Board of Aldermen meeting is now called to order. Please stand and join me for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, Amy, you're here, right? So I know it's the end of the month, and we had put these on social media because thank you, Matt and Amy, for getting, and Linda, making sure we did this. So September is Senior Citizens Month. And also, Falls Prevention Awareness Week was in September as well. So Amy's here to accept both those for the Senior Center. So we'll do that when Linda's ready and get a picture. Are we gonna break August record with September now that we did this as well? Are we gonna break the August record for attendance in September? All right. For those of you that weren't watching Parks and Rec Committee, Matt announced that we broke the record for attendance in August for Senior Center. So good job. Thank you. Melissa pushed hard to get that position, so good job. All right, next item on the agenda is item number 4, public hearing for the 2024 property tax levy rate to raise the general tax rate from 0.03869 to 0.3880. The purpose of the public hearing is for the Board of Aldermen to hear testimony relating to the proposed 2024 property tax levy rate. If you have other concerns related to 2024 property tax levy rate, you can be brought forward during the agenda item number 8. Persons wishing to be heard should have checked in with the city clerk and given their name and address. Each person will have a 3-minute time limit. The public hearing for the 2024 property tax levy rate is now open. Anyone? All right, with being no further testimony, I close the public hearing for the 2024 property tax levy rate. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Alderman Atkins.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Mayor, I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries.
Abstain.
One abstain. Next item on the agenda is committee reports, Parks and Rec Committee.
Okay, we met back in August for parks, and a couple of our main items were actually also listed in Cynthia's report. Our bathroom was delivered to Diamond Crest Park. And that was on the 13th of September, and I think they're working on installation now. So that should be up and running hopefully soon. And then also we were able to break ground on the Emerald Ridge Park and Playground. Groundbreaking was September 2nd, but they, I think, hopefully resumed construction this week. The only other thing we discussed was we had an Eagle Scout come and present. He completed his project here, and he built a really large, cool, like, destination chair, like one of those big, I think it was like 8 feet tall. And he was looking for a good location to put it somewhere in town. So we're working with him with that and excited to see that come forward.
We're looking at October install, Matt?
Mhm.
After all the events are done for the year. Cool. Any questions for Alderman Shipley? All right, EDC report, Alderman Hartman.
Thank you, Mayor. So we had a guest, Matt Piesel from University of Missouri Extension Office. He is presented to us as the EDC. He's a labor and workforce development specialist, and just some numbers on not only nationally, but statewide. And then he drilled down to Clay County and specifically Smithville. So it was a very informative report. I believe the EDC members learned a lot. I certainly learned a lot. And it's just another example of reaching out to other entities and having them come into the city of Smithville and present. So appreciated him doing so. So that concludes my report.
Any questions? Alderman Hartman? Ms. Wagner, do you have anything to add to your report?
I don't, it's a voluminous report. I think it stands. There are a lot of updates on staffing and other projects as has been outlined. So it is as it stands, and I'm happy to answer any questions anyone might have.
I have a question, Cynthia. It has to do with the police officers. And with 13 now, they're active duty, they're actively working. And we have four, I believe four in recruits, right? Four recruits and was it 2 or 3 that get out here?
We'll have 2 that graduate tomorrow, Thursday evening. And we have 1 that will be starting. One started Tuesday and another will start. No, it's already started. And one graduates in January. Yeah. So
Okay.
we have 4 who are either currently in academy or graduating in 2 days.
Okay, good.
So, yeah,
Thank you.
And just kind of as a reminder on that, when we have some of the academy is about 6 months. Then once we have a recruit graduate from academy, they're assigned to field training. And they have a field training officer. Sometimes they'll rotate through a couple of different officers to take them through, learn the community, how our SOPs and policies. And that generally, it really is at their speed, but about 16 weeks.
Okay, yeah, so at best, probably 4.5 months after tomorrow, right? We'll have 2 of them coming back Thursday. Okay, after Thursday.
After Thursday,
Okay,
right.
great. That'll be a big plus. And
Mhm.
I know we pulled off the school resource officers. And do we have a projection on when we might have some school resource officers back, or are we not?
It's going to depend on staffing.
Okay, so that's,
Mhm.
okay, lower down the totem pole. And in the meantime, I understand the school board was looking at hiring some security guards.
Security officers, and we actually are working to try to set up a time to discuss with Dr. Miles and staff there of their plan on that.
Okay.
We, as I think I've forwarded to the board, when we have issues, we let the school district know kind of our status, and they've been good to work with there as well. But we're in communication on that. And I think, as most of you all know, superintendent and I meet on a monthly basis and talk about a number of items, and the staffing of our police has been an ongoing discussion.
Okay, thank you. Is there any barriers for them being armed officers that we know of? Any barriers for them being armed, armed security guards?
We're having ongoing discussions with them from a legal perspective with regard to how that relationship will work with our department.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chief.
And actually, the security guard is not new at the school. They've had it a couple years. The new budget started July 1. They added additional security guards.
To each of
The
the
one at the,
schools.
yeah, 2 more. The one at the high school has been there now, what, 2 years? Yeah. So it's not a new thing. And our board added the second SRO a few years ago. The school did not
With the
request that.
2019 budget, right, Jason?
2019, yeah, the Alderman Blumker and I worked through that, and Alderman Wilson. Yep. And we 100% funded that because that was something the school at the time could not afford. So
Correct.
they just recently started paying for the second one.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you
been
very much.
priority to this board for a number of years, so. Okay, anything else for Cynthia? Anything else to add? Good, thank you. Next item on the agenda is number 8. It does have 2 readings, Alderman Atkins.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve Bill number 3038-24, setting the 2024 property tax rate emergency ordinance sponsored by the Mayor Boley for the first reading.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Mayor, I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to discuss it, please.
Yep.
So the county recommended a decrease, a slight decrease, but we went, on our side, we went up 0.01111, comes out to like $100 something per $100,000. So it's not like a big increase, a difference there. But I know that the staff in your report or in this agenda, it says that the staff reviewed it, and they went to with the .38. That's as high as we can go. So I just want to see the reasoning and stuff that the staff came up with, the raise, instead of leaving it the same or lowering it.
That calculation is based on the state calculation that all entities run through. So that is the allowable amount that we can tax. And so we, for a number of years, as our assessments have gone up, we have rolled that back. There is an allowable inflationary increase, and so that's what's included in there. Our assessed valuation on personal property did go down slightly, and that's why there's an increase on that.
Okay, thank you very much, Cynthia. Thank you for explaining that.
Anything else? Clerk, please call roll.
Alderman Hartman,
Aye.
Alderman Kibelski,
Aye.
Alderman Atkins,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
No.
Alderman Shipley,
Aye.
Alderman Russell,
No?
4-2.
Motion carries. Ms. Wagner, please read the bill.
An ordinance fixing the annual rate of levy on all taxable property within the city of Smithville, Missouri for the year 2024 pursuant to 67.110 RSMO.
Thank you. Second reading, please. Alderman Atkins.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve bill number 3038-24, setting the 24 property tax rate emergency ordinance sponsored by Mayor Boley for the second reading.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Mayor will second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Clerk, please call roll.
Alderman Atkins,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
No.
Alderman Kibelski,
Aye.
Alderman Russell,
No?
Alderman Hartman,
Aye.
Alderman Shipley,
Aye.
4-2.
Motion carries. Ms. Wagner, please read the bill.
An ordinance fixing the annual rate of levy on all taxable property within the city of Smithville, Missouri for the year 2024 pursuant to 67.110 RSMO.
Thank you. Next item is number 9, also 2 readings. Alderman Atkins.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve bill number 3039-24, fiscal year 2024 budget amendment number 4, emergency ordinance sponsored by Mayor Boley for the first reading.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Mayor will second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor, I have something on this again, please. So on this one, and thanks, I'd like to thank Chuck for coming up and explaining this to me, but on here, there were 3 dollar amounts that were, or large, that were left in the, in 3 different tax buckets that were left in last year's budget. And the question is, Chuck explained it to me, but, and they were left there, and that 2 of them moved up and 3 of them didn't. But my question is, are there any other projects that are outstanding and any other monies that is left in last year's budget?
When you say last year, we're 23,
20, yeah,
the 23 budget?
okay.
So the budget that we reviewed tonight to go into for the 25 budget, 23 budget, we're done with. 24, there are projects that those should all be reflected in the 25 budget now. If we've not finished them, we're rebudgeting those funds.
Okay.
This project, we thought we would have paid out, and so we hadn't moved those funds from 23 to 24 budget.
Okay,
We make, as we talked during the work session, there are a lot of projects that sometimes just take longer than we thought. And we've really seen that in the last few years. This project we waited on supplies. There were lots of things that happened with that. So those delays happened. So there are no more to 23. And 24, we've kind of hit a mark where we're finishing up the payments, and the outstanding expenditures for projects that are still underway will be rolled into the budget for next year because they're unexpended for this year. And and they're included in those numbers that you've seen.
okay, thank you. That's, it was, and we move stuff around a lot too, so it's hard, it moves.
All right, I'll start over. What's really complicated with these projects are like streetscape. We had planned, we bid it back in February. And then the bids were too high. Sorry, bids were too high. And then we rebid it. And we finally got MoDOT approval to award it and on and on. So we're just now, September, and we had a meeting with the neighbors yesterday. next Monday, we'll shut the road down and start. That was a 24 project. And it's gonna move to 25, but how much? Well, when the contractor starts ordering materials, we're gonna be paying for materials if he gets them in and gets them billed before we flip over November 1. So we try to estimate that. And sometimes we make it, sometimes we don't. And that's when the budget amendments come back in. Same thing with, we just got commercial. We just bid that. Callie, when we bid that May, and we're just getting the contracts through MoDOT. And we'll end up issuing the notice to proceed October 1st, November 1st. And how much are we gonna get done? Probably not a lot. So we've tried to anticipate how much of that is gonna be spent this year, move the rest to 24. So, and these bigger projects like the raw water pump, that went 3 years. Because that was during COVID when we started, and then we had material delays and on and on and on. And that was one that we had several budget amendments on just because it kept jumping the next year. And we always thought we would be done, but then the contractor doesn't get something and then we don't get billed. And then, so that's how it comes. These construction projects are a little difficult.
Thank you, Chuck, and you
Yep.
did a good job explaining it too. As I was saying, wait a minute, we're missing, $360,000, and Chuck said, no, we moved that. We moved that money, just.
Moved that
Yeah,
one.
we moved those two, we just, these three got stuck behind, so thank
Yep.
you for that, Chuck, thank you.
No problem.
I'm sure our contractors would love us if we prepaid and then it'd make the budget clean,
No.
but that'd be
So-
fiscally
So here
irresponsible.
we are with Quincy,
Yeah,
and I've told the contractor, because he hasn't billed us for the final bill yet.
right.
We still got seating, and we've talked to the gentleman with the basketball goal. They're handling that, so he's good with that. And they haven't sent me the final bill yet. And I said, we are getting that thing done. I want the bill before the end of October.
It's gonna be
because-
paid before the end of October.
I know.
November 1,
So,
you're
They
doing a budget
should have
amendment.
it done. They're gonna go back and reseed. It's supposed to be this week still, so. we
Not with
should
this
be
rain.
good. Otherwise.
Gonna
we'll
wash it
hold the
all away.
check And wait until they get done.
And if something does happen, well, yeah, we'll hold the check and process it beforehand and then pay it. Or you'll see a budget amendment. Every year, we've got a budget amendment right out of the chute of some things that just didn't happen. So.
Gotta do the amendments, keep the audit clean. Any other discussion? Clerk, please call roll.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Shipley,
Aye.
Alderman Russell,
Aye.
Alderman Hartman,
Aye.
Alderman Kibelski,
Aye.
Alderman Atkins,
Aye.
6-0.
Motion carries. Ms. Wagner, please read the bill.
An ordinance amending the fiscal year 2024 budget.
Thank you. Now for second reading, Alderman Atkins.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve Bill number 3039-24, fiscal year 2024 budget amendment number 4, emergency ordinance, sponsored by Mayor Boley for the second reading.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Mayor, I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Clerk, please call roll.
Alderman Atkins,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Kibelski,
Aye.
Alderman Russell,
Aye.
Alderman Hartman,
Aye.
Alderman Shipley,
Aye.
6-0.
Motion carries. Ms. Wagner, please read the bill.
An ordinance amending the fiscal year 2024 budget.
Thank you. Next item is number 10, Alderman Atkins.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve Bill number 3040-24, rezoning corner of 169 and W Highway for the first reading.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Mayor, I'll second.
Thank you. I just got a couple of public comments, so I'll go with the order they're received. I'm gonna guess, this looks like Lindsay to me. Lindsay? And Linda, we're just gonna have them sit, or are you gonna, how are you gonna do it with the new stuff? Just please state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
My name is Lindsay Vogt. My address is 7014 Northwest Kearns Drive. And I am just here on behalf of the applicant, representing the engineering firm who prepared the plans. So just here for any questions.
Thank you. Anything?
I have a question, but I don't know if it'll be for you or if it'll be more for Jack from Planning and Zoning. I wanted to know why, and I should have asked this in Planning and Zoning and didn't, why on the calculation on the density, why Clay Creek was included?
I kept it in there because on the, if you look at the comp plan's future land use plan map, the entire area is orange.
Okay,
So I included it as to the possible limits on the dwelling units per acre.
so my question is, would the 26.79 acres hold the number of units that are being built there without including Clay Creek?
Oh, yeah, yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
And the main purpose, if I may not have been very clear, Alderman Wilson, but the total area was orange, so we included it all to get the total area that was identified in there. But there is a separate calculation of
Yeah.
how many units
No.
per acre.
No, I understood.
Oh, okay.
So, but, and I'm just going to make a comment, which I did in planning and zoning. And I know, and like I said, shame on me for not catching that in the comp plan, because all the discussions in the strategic meetings, and even if you read through the comp plan, that was kind of like just a suggestion. I understand why it was done was because Clay Creek had already been built, but that was built before we did the comp plan. And the overall understanding of a lot of people who were involved with the creation of those plans, the north characteristic area, the overall consensus was the hope that it would stay single-family detached. So I'm done with my comments.
And before we move on to additional discussion, Mike, are you here also for the applicant as well? Or, okay, just making sure. Does anybody have any questions for the applicant? Since they're not here for public comment? No? Any other discussion, since we have applicant representatives and Jack's still here too?
Can I say one more comment, though, on the
Go for it.
positive side of everything? I do appreciate you guys taking into account some of the suggestions and questions we had during planning and zoning, so I did appreciate that, though.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we very much enjoyed the opportunity to be able to take a look at those and see what we can make work, and appreciate the comments and feedback.
Thank you.
It's really a partnership.
Alderman Hartman.
Mayor, I just want to say, Mike and Lindsay, and to the applicant, this is fulfilling a need that we've had in Smithville for some time, and that's housing. And so I appreciate that this is going to be coming online because we need it. So.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Clerk, please call roll.
Alderman Shipley,
Aye.
Alderman Kibelski,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
No,
Alderman Hartman,
Aye.
Alderman Atkins,
Aye.
Alderman Russell,
No.
4-2.
Motion carries. Ms. Wagner, please read the bill.
An ordinance changing the zoning classifications or districts of certain lands located in the city of Smithville, Missouri, located at the southeast corner of 169 and W highways.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is number 11, Alderman Atkins.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve Resolution 1402, award bid 2415 for snow removal.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Mayor, I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? It's already cold out. We don't want it to snow, right? So, all right. All those in favor of approving resolution 1402, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item is number 12, Alderman Atkins.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve Resolution 1403, change order number 2 for Quincy Boulevard.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Mayor, I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving resolution 1403, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is number 13, Alderman Atkins.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve Resolution 1404, engineering authorization number 102.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving resolution 1404, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item is number 14, Alderman Atkins.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve Resolution 1405, amendment number 2 to authorization number 94.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Mayor, I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of approving resolution 1405, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is public comment. We have one public comment. Ms. Bunch, you're familiar with the rules. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. I may need a little longer than 3 minutes, if that's all right.
You have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you, Mayor, Alderman, City Clerk, and City Administrator.
Please state your name and address for the
Oh,
record.
sorry. Yes, it's been a minute. Christine Bunch, 402 Fourth Terrace. I just want to say thank you to Mayor, Alderman, City Clerk, and City Administrator for helping me gather information in my research and public documents. Transparency is key in government, and although all of my questions don't necessarily get answered, nor am I allowed to volunteer within the city of Smithville, I am still grateful for the rights and privileges that I do have as a citizen in Smithville. I would like to bring to your attention once again, as I've mentioned in these businesses and these businesses in previous alderman meetings, of not having a business license in Smithville. This is a lot of lost revenue our city could be collecting, and I do encourage you to research the following. These individuals tend to follow each other by days apart, sometimes in public documents, and from the ones that I've verified, some businesses are not even properly licensed with the Missouri Real Estate Commission in Jefferson City. While we might not be able to do much federally or statewide, we can certainly adhere to our Smithville laws and ordinances, and I encourage you to please follow up with unregistered, unlicensed Smithville businesses, which may include the following: Tall Oaks Apartments, Dream Properties Real Estate, Dream Homes by Jen, Hartman Real Estate Team, Kansas City Property Investments, Eric Craig Real Estate Team, and I have a long list, and Linda, yes, I can give that to you. So it was just a little short notice today. And that's it, really. I guess I finished way under 3 minutes, but I just really think it's lost revenue. And if we're giving out TIFs, they need to at least have a Smithville business license. I don't even know how I didn't catch that. I happened to look it up on Friday when they were talking about moving into the 4,000 square foot space at the TIF building. So let's just start with basics, guys. Make sure everybody has their business license. It's lost revenue. And make sure you're licensed with the real estate commissions in Jeff City. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, which Bob has sat patiently for, is the appointment of Jeff Arnold to the Housing Authority Commission and Board. We do appoint people to this board. We've had to do it twice now, I think, in my 6.5 years. So they do stick around a long time for Bob. So he's got some long-serving board members. So if anybody has any questions for Bob, he's here to answer. If you don't know Jeff, his father served on the Board of Aldermen before. He's in the community for quite a while. So with that, I'll appoint Jeff Arnold to the Housing Authority Commission. Clerk, please call roll.
Alderman Atkins.
Aye.
Alderman Wilson.
Aye.
Alderman Shipley.
Aye.
Alderman Kibelski.
Aye.
Alderman Russell.
Aye.
Alderman Hartman.
Aye.
6-0.
Bob, you have a full board again. There you go. You're welcome. I'm glad Chuck got to meet with you on the housing stuff, the streetscape. It's going to be important. Yeah, it's important that we, help with that. Next item on the agenda is new business for the floor. I know one thing I talked with staff about and a few others. A few years ago, when we amended the ordinance for the Economic Development Committee, at the time, Alderman Hurlbert and I brought up the idea of having an EDC independent of the city boards, able to operate similar to the chamber. I don't know what the rest of the board's opinion is of that, revisiting that at this time, kind of a fall ball scenario that we can look at now with the thunder coming in. So any opinions on that? Alderman Hartman, I know you serve on that committee.
I do, Mayor. Yes. No, I believe we should look at that as a board and potentially discuss that. So.
Okay.
I agree.
What are the benefits of it? I guess is my question. What would be the benefit of have it operate separately?
City committees can't really go after funding and other things that an entity like the chamber could do to go out and do planning and things like that. It all rolls up to us essentially. They're just advisory to us at this point.
Okay.
Being able to operate as an independent entity, if staff looks into it for us, they can give us some of the benefits of that. But we appoint members to Bob's board, but we don't have oversight of it. We don't control his budget. So, it's nice to work with groups in the community, but we don't always have to have full control of those groups, in my opinion.
Is that something we can add to the work session, to a future work session?
I think we can have staff look into it if that's enough direction for you, Ms. Wagner. Okay, thank you. Any other new business? With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn regular session.
Should we wait till it's done raining or just sit here?
Second, I want to get home.
All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Stand adjourned. I've been at board meeting since 10:30.
Oh, my gosh.
All the mark. In Minnesota for the chamber exchange.
Yeah.
So I had to run.